However, in the future, there's going to be more jobs that are online. That means that kids from underserved communities, mainly black kids, need access to resources such as computers so that they can learn digital skills
Yes.
and leverage on future jobs that are going to be more online than hybrid or physically. Yes.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yeah, so,
so Inner Robotics is growing.
yes.
It's growing rapidly in such a way that you understand that with the amount of kids that need jobs, that's where Indala Robotics comes in. So that's where the growth comes in because a lot of people are looking for opportunities that Indala Robotics are offering.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you think about African innovation? Do you think, as Africans, in particular, the word innovation, we understand what is innovation? And if we do understand the innovation as African, can robotics solve local challenges? And if yes, how?
Yeah, I believe Africans invented the word innovation. Okay, I
Okay.
just don't know in what African language we can say innovation is, but Africans have our own architecture, Africans own technology. Africa owns ancient knowledge. It was only forbidden because it's forbidden from black people. Six is growing. Am I still
Yes.
audible? Growing rapidly in such a way that you understand that.
Apart that, Jackie, please continue. Apart
Oh,
from that,
okay, okay.
oh,
The echo kept me quite quiet. I was like, oh, am I still talking?
apologies. Maybe let me just notify you. Our production team was just notifying us that we've got people commenting on Facebook. We also just went live on YouTube. So we are live in three JK platforms. So when you talk, you are not just talking to us on here on TikTok, but we are also live on Facebook and live on YouTube as well. So you know,
Woo!
yes,
So anything that we just realized is that yay, Rihanna has won because she's not speaking now.
so
So
my
my
wait
what's
a
another
minute. In Facebook, I'm looking at our Facebook page as just someone who just notified me. And I want to if Facebook is slow. If Facebook is slow, it's slow. So
so
now, okay.
um
It means that so just hold on. Let's check on other channels first. Go to where are we? Wamajiga Jiki. I want you to this day 17.
No, no, no. I'm excited.
Okay,
You
okay.
know,
And that me
yeah,
very
I would like talking.
and that me very much excited to have you. I just want to see how can are we on which channel are we on? What? So checking we are live on Inner Robotics Facebook page, by the way.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see. Oh, wait. Checking we are
Okay.
live. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, wait. Checking we are okay. Please should continue now. So it is confirmed. Should I send you the link for our YouTube, Jackie, on WhatsApp? Who's bonnet?
Yes, you may.
Okay, just hold on. So we are live in three channels. We are live on Facebook, we are live on TikTok, we are live on YouTube simultaneously. So
are
are
you
you
still
still there,
there,
Jackie?
Jackie?
Nguzwa kahle.
Can you hear me?
Nguzwa kahle mina. Uyangizwa?
Ngiyakuzwa kahle.
I'm excited. Me excited. Let me see. So maybe we can invite people from. Maybe we can invite people from actually. As in, Jackie, are you able to see? Are you able to see that able to see live? Then, when you're happy, Jackie, then we can continue.
Yes, I could see what to be alive on YouTube.
Perfect. So it's not coming.
Yes.
Okay.
Get
Okay.
ready.
So, Jackie, why STEM? Why STEM? Because South Africa needs a solution. Yeah, but so how would you say STEM is a solution? We've lost you, Jackie. You muted?
Back.
Yes. You are now back.
Okay. So I guess TikTok doesn't want me to come out of TikTok.
Ana ngiyenze.
But anyway, so STEM. The reason we looking into STEM is because when I was in high school, I
Yes.
learned that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics were one of the subjects that you could take that would broaden your perspective on life, right? So it's one stream that will allow you to basically venture into different careers, right?
Yes.
So you are not limited to just one specific thing. You have a broader, what's this word?
Perspective.
Yes, you have a broader perspective on life. You have a broader perspective when it comes to also career choices. So, science, right? If you're not good at science, you can look into technology or engineering or mathematics. However, add in the robotics, we also add art because we understand or technology, and we're not only looking into STEM, which is science subjects, we're also looking into economics, business. We're looking for entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So it's basically taking STEM and putting it into real life solutions. So the question would always be, what is the point of learning how to how to understand a plant, like biology, for example, or life science, which is what it's called now. So when you look into it, understanding how a plant grows and all of that,
Yeah.
it helps you understand agriculture. So because at schools we are not taught, we see it as far-fetched, learning about it. Don't
Sorry,
like learning
Jackie. Sorry,
about
Jackie.
plants.
Sorry, Jackie. You're breaking. Maybe can you try to stick next to the mic so that we can hear you?
Okay. Also, I had the network internet connection.
Okay. Perfect. But now we can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay. So in a nutshell, STEM is just incorporating all everyday. I mean, incorporating some what seems to be complicated. When you hear STEM, you hear science, you hear technology. Most of us black people, we isolate ourselves from those subjects because we understand that theoretically you cannot learn anything theoretically.
Yes.
As black people, we were never we cannot learn theoretically because we are practical beings. We born practically this thing. You
Of
find
course.
Wuti, sometimes you cannot explain it when you're writing an exam, but understand how this thing works. Maybe you don't understand how or you don't even remember that it's a circuit or how the currency or the current flows and all of these things. You cannot explain it when it comes to the English language, but practically you can do it. So
Yeah.
a lot of things that limit us is the English language, and that's why you find the Chinese are excelling, is because they are using their own language to learn. So if we can just take away maybe the theory and books and then we do it practically,
Yeah.
we understand these things. Not that we are dumb or we are slow. It's just that we are taught in a language that is not ours. And to say today we need to change the language from English to isiZulu and all of that is taking us back. Already we have adapted to the English language. We just need to do things practically so that we can see it for what it is. And white people already have these things, already have the science experiment, they have the infrastructures and all of these things. And I believe that South Africa, especially the black people, the underserved communities, can leverage and benefit from Indalo Robotics' vision and mission.
I get you. What? Yeah. Yeah. So, what? Negotiate as unishiyo umwena womkamo. This is what initial results. You know, so because the reason why I'm saying so, you've touched on unemployment rate, which is sitting on the stagnant 60%. You know, there's also the tech skills gap showing in our economy, you know. And now with the gaps that we have next isikhulu ukuthi abantu lento abayazi bayifuna ngeliyo basically we need a hands-on experience to close all those gaps. Yeah. Okay, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, inokuzana i-TikTok itsema ngiyibona ngoba isikhathi eside kangakasiyazi and you've detected an inactive. Oh, it's on the screen. Yeah. Can you see the screen? We've detected an inactivity during of current live. Please complete the invitation to continue the live session. So right with the puzzle to the piece. So now I need. Are you still there, Jackie?
I'm available. I'm available.
So I was making a point as you were talking, also making that the traditional jobs are fading, meaning that we need a future that is digital. You know, and I know what you say. So check like in terms of the jobs, 85% of the jobs, each step would help sustain 85% of the jobs that are already they have a gap on. What can you say about that?
Okay, so as a country we need to fast okay as a country we need to work fast and think fast, right? Already in the next 5 to 10 years we're looking at a higher unemployment rate because even the digital skills that we are trying to get the youth to leverage on will perhaps not be there in the next 5 years, as most jobs are not there in the past 5 years since COVID. So yeah, it calls for evolving and adapting.
Yeah.
So one thing I would say is that we have realized that one thing that a human being needs is food. So that's why Indalo Robotics does not only cater for robotics, AI, coding, and digital skills. However, we're also looking into agriculture, because at the end of the day, we need to eat. Right. So if the youth get on the train now, they can leverage on the opportunities that are out there as is. However, it's very important to also understand that with the rise of AI, the market is going to be saturated also on digital skills because everybody will be going digitally. So
Yeah.
it's important that we move now so that in the next 5 years we can be looking into leveraging other opportunities that will be available at that time. So basically we can't take it as you've learned once and that's it. So we are in the careers age which calls for learning some more. So you can't say that you have learned. You
Yeah, I
just need
get
to keep
you.
learning.
I get you. You so I'm glad you've touched on the common fears that people have, that would AI take our jobs, or what would be the opportunities in the job market with the rise of AI. How would you address that and really maybe comfort someone who's on the street, or someone who don't even have an idea about AI?
Yes, it is true that AI has taken a lot of already. However, it is important that we move past the fear of robots and AI taking our jobs. It's not the first time people are afraid of robots taking our jobs. It has been happening for years, in which agriculture has been automated with bigger machines that can work half the time or even faster than human beings in as a collective, and it's also cost efficient. So it's very important to understand that corporates are looking into profit because they're capitalists. It's all about the capital that they can make. So we can't look into businesses as a way of living, as like I said, they are more profit based. So
Yeah,
it's important for us to learn how to sustain ourselves. Yes. So as far as AI taking our jobs, we should be more focused on working together with AI
yeah.
than the jobs that will be lost.
No,
Why
no,
do you
just
look like that?
come again.
Why do you look like that? Ungathi uzothi brrr.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, so how is the 26-year-old changing education in South Africa? Can you tell us about your journey as a young female founder of a non-profit space? Or maybe let me also record this. All right. So just hold on. Let me send this to you as well. And then I still very cheeky.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just take a moment and check maybe the question that should be diving into. Yeah, maybe Jackie, the question would be, as a female founder of a non-profit organization, in South Africa, can you let us know of the challenges that you have faced, and how to overcome them, and yes, maybe let's start with the challenges, and how to overcome them, and how to, and what advice would you give to other young people?
Okay. Am I still Are?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. So we started in robotics when I was 24 years.
Okay.
So now it's been almost 3 years as I am turning 27 this year.
Yeah.
So some of the challenges were that the concept or the idea of industrial robotics is a foreign concept, right? Foreign in such a way that when you are asking for funding or approaching people with a non-profit perspective, most of the people are thinking of soup kitchen, Albani bread and all of those things. So they normally expect you to ask for less than you believe that the community deserve.
Yeah.
They make you feel like you need to beg,
Yes.
because they don't understand what is this thing that you are coming with, right?
Yeah.
So the people that would normally understand would be the younger generation, because they understand how everything is evolving and how we need to catch up. However, the older generation, especially the ones that are not open minded, this thing is foreign, but they also understand that there is a gap that needs to be filled. However, they also don't know how to position themselves. So, those are one of the challenges that I have faced. Really, being a female is that now when it comes to the domination also of the male nature, is that they'll try to suppress and try to make you feel small. You need to play small because the big leagues, this is for the big dogs. you know
Yeah.
so those are some of the challenges, and I wouldn't say that someone else can just go through it. I wouldn't have done it without my team, backing me up, being like, let's do this, and basically telling people where to get off, because there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens, especially when people do not want to see progress. There's people who are literally put in places so that there is no progress in the country. So it's basically just fighting through the barriers. And if I were to advise someone else, I would advise them to take a different career unless they are willing to starve for this,
Yes.
because it's not easy.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you so much to know that as a young youth, you've been you were hungry for this, and it's very comforting to know. And it's a changing story, because most of the connotation that is sitting there, or that the older generation has, between by useless, next, there's nothing, there's opportunities for young people, but young people are not coming. Forgetting which is, there's also I'm gatekeepers, as you said, to make sure that young people don't get the chances. Yeah, but so now it takes us to a very second question, Jackie. To say, why South African youth need skills, not just degrees?
Because with the current employment rate, it's clear that the degrees are not working, because when you're studying for a degree, they teach you how to be an employee. And we need more entrepreneurs than employees, because employees still need to get paid. And as employees normally want you to think for them, you need to think about their medical, you need to think about their car allowance, you need to think about them, you need to think about them all the time. So we need people who will take in leadership and think about these people that want to be thought for. All right. Because some people are not entrepreneurial because they are receivers, right? They're there to do the work and receive. And
Yeah.
then we are the ones that should need to push the barriers and the boundaries that are created so that a black person starves, right? And it is crazy that it is written in our constitution that the government has the responsibility to make sure that we are economically participating
Economical.
for themselves, and then they hoard it. However, when you do that to money, because money is a currency, money is a flow, it's money, right? It's about water. Basically, it's money needs to flow. So most of the time you find those gatekeepers who basically block the gate of the water that needs to flow. Then you find that the country is suffering from those people that are sit there. And because now Tina Ama born free, we don't know about all of these structures that were put before we were born. We find it hard to find because we don't know what we're fighting against. It's like, for example, the constitution. Yes, we learned about the constitution, but then how does that apply into our lives? It has never been embedded like how it was embedded initially when it was written and implemented.
Yeah.
So it's very important to also self-educate ourselves, but at the same time, in this world of information, you don't know what is good information and what is bad information. You don't know if the information you're getting is even valuable. Just because a company has a website does not mean the website is legit. So there's a lot of things that go around getting digital skills and the degrees, and we have seen a lot of people leave their jobs that they got with their degrees and pursue something totally different, like for example content creation, which is more it's in the digital space. So you see that we all need to evolve at some point.
Yeah.
Even if you have studied for 4 years, your degree might not be relevant in the next 4 years. The same way, if you study a digital skill today, it might not be relevant tomorrow. For example, if you study web development today, in the next 5 years, AI could be creating a whole website, right? It has already started when you can just tell the AI the type of website that you want, and then it creates it for you. Yes, there's